Hello, 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 everybody. It's your girl, Kanisha Tyler, aka Sarathea I Am. And this time I have a question. I'm wondering, or asking, what is all this talk about the removal of the head, biblically? Like, I know there's a story in the Bible where there was this idol that was placed in the temple, the place that God's presence was supposed to be, and God had knocked that idol over, right? He knocked it down. And then the scripture says the priest or someone came in and they set it back up. And so God knocked it over again, or knocked it down again. And he said, and this time the head was removed from the body of the idol worship. So in that stance, I can understand, the scriptures talks about he'll give you over to a reprobate mind, right? In a sense of you lost your head, talking about like you will lose your logical knowledge or your logical self, right? But the question I have is when we go back to the beginning and we're talking about because now we know today now they refer to the phallus as a head. We get in Egyptian, they talked about Isis being unable to find the phallus of her loved one, or the head of him, right? But when we're talking about Moses, they call it circumcision then. And it's talking about removing the foreskin of the flesh. Did we just operate in a ritual to worship the fact of losing the logical self? I mean, because let's think about it. We're talking about it becoming a covenant. God said this is a sign of the covenant, right? And the covenant is between Abram after he involved himself by listening to the woman when he was supposed to be the lead into interracial relationship. Let's think about it, because the Bible biblically it says if you're going to give your husband to somebody or your wife to somebody, it's supposed to be the brother of family. But he made children with the help. He made children with an Egyptian. Biblically, these are the these are your to throw me off my train of thought sometimes. These are those who follow, or whose God is Egypt. God, when they was doing the Osiris and Isis, all of those things where they was worshiping those gods. So God had to make a covenant with Abram after the fact of having or involving himself in interracial relationships. But to say that everybody has to be a part of this is to say that we're all involving ourselves with servants or Hagars. It seems a little strange to me. It was unclear to me. And so I thought, if this is all white supremacy, then we're involved in what we're saying is we worship the ideal of losing our heads or losing our logical selves, right? Because in a sense, that's what Abram did when he decided to follow what Sarah was telling him to do, or Sarai was telling him to do. to go and make babies, a chosen child at that, with a servant, with the Hispanics or Latinos. I know we all want to say we're Egyptians, or we worship, and I'm just saying, look, they probably put some hidden agendas in that too. I'm not saying that black folks, you didn't have your hand in it, because everything came from us. But I would just wonder, is it that we're to worship it in the way that it was given to us as stolen children from our land? So for me, I always had a difficult time wanting to do that. You know, and even when I questioned it, it was almost like I was attacked for that as well. You know? You know, I was told, oh, you, what they say, how they say it? I was told I'm not churchy enough or Christian enough or this or that. Some kind of trying to, is that called gaslighting? Probably so. So I don't really comprehend the point of cutting or allowing these enemies to cut off, not first of all, to take our babies who are unable to actually tell us what's going on, right? Because we don't really know if excuse me, we don't really know if our children have been, Waffles, be quiet, numbed correctly, right? It's part of losing your head. They're taking our babies and putting them through excruciating pain when they're fresh out the womb. It's like we're ritually worshiping the ideology of losing our heads, losing our minds. It's a question. It's mind-boggling to me. So I'm wondering if it's meant to be a sign that I may have lost. Abram saying I may have lost my mind for a minute, a split second, right? But God was redeeming me through my son that I made in the original thought of God for me. Then how come we're all being made to do that? Or put that on our children? It's a question. Because I don't think we're supposed to worship everyone's God. I think Chemosh was the God for homosexuals. I think Baal, they call him the Five Lords, was the God of the Philistines. So are we as parents perhaps putting burdens on our children, trying to follow the status quo? So I have to I have to sit in a position of letting you think about me, what it is you're going to think, so that I don't call out my brother of what I am, if that makes sense. I can't come in here and tell you exactly what I did or didn't do, because to do that, I would condemn the people that I'm trying to protect. So now, when we talk about love covers a multitude of sin, if there is clarity of what that looks like. It doesn't mean keep on sinning, right? And I'm just going to have you back. No. It's from the standpoint of if you make a mistake that offends the whole, and in some way, shape, or form, right? There is a possibility of myself looking in the wrong with you, then that is where I'll have to stand. I would hope, in the hopes that if it comes down to them wanting to take my life, you remember like the woman, the adultery act, where they were caught in the act of adultery and they just brought the woman out. I would be in hopes that when it gets to that point, you would speak up. This ain't a one-way street, love. Right? So I'm just wondering, and maybe you should wonder too, have you been deceived to worship the God of losing your God-forsaken mind? Whether that's letting them chop away at your baby's head, or letting them chop away at your lover's head, or letting them chop away at your head. It's just food for thought. Dudes, guys, look, stop being so quick to let them come after what they want to call a weak target, and you sit back and don't say nothing. They caught these people in the act of adultery. The act. That means they knew who the dude was. They knew who she was. And yet the only one appeared for the stoning was the woman. It's just food for thought. I'll talk to y'all later.